How are you doing, Pokemon? It's Hedgehog Zencation Uploads with Power here. Welcome to a new video. And looks like I'm finally standing in front of the camera and talking again. Something else I'm forgetting. Oh, that's right. Happy New Year! Yes, it is the new year, at least at the time that this video is going up. I'm recording this well in advance because I know this is going to be a pain, and it's going to be very long. It's going to take me a long time to edit all of this, so I'm just going to record this whole thing in advance. Anyway, 2019 is ending soon. By the time you see this, 2019 is already ended, and we're a little into 2020. And so, with 2019 ending so soon, I wanted to take a real quick look back at all of the things that have happened this year. I want to take a look back at the one major event per year that existed, that happened in 2010 to 2019. I wanted to take a look back, look at all of the things that happened every year this decade, and just go through it, because I feel like the general community, I mean, other than the video game community, obviously, but the general society hasn't really talked that much about the fact that we're entering a new decade. Like, when 2000 and 2010 happened, I feel like it was a lot bigger than 2010 to 2020. And yeah, I just wanted to take a look back through everything we've been through this decade. One major event per year. The rules are, I can only have one event per year, and I have to pick one per year to talk about. I can go into detail about it as much as I want, and I also wanted to make it somewhat related to the channel and what I cover on the channel, you know, like what the content that I make. So I guess let's get started. And we're starting with 2010, which actually is just the perfect year to start, because 2010 is when I first got into video games. Well, when I first got my own video game console, the Wii. Yeah, I know, it was a while before I got my own video game console, but I got my own console, I got a Wii in 2010 on Black Friday when it came down. It was the Wii that you might have already seen, you might not have. It's the black one with the Wii Remote Plus. Came with Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort, and that thing has gotten me through up till today. And you know what? I'm really glad I got it, because back then I was still just kind of getting into video games. I wasn't really super into them yet, and the only times I could play video games were at my friends' houses, who, like my neighbors. You know, when the day ended, when we were done playing outside, we'd go to somebody's house and we'd just go inside, play some Smash Bros, we'd play some Mario Kart, we might play some Wii Sports or Wii Sports Resort. It was just a fun time. Mario Galaxy, you know, all of these games, we just go to someone's house and we just have a ball. Like, it was just a lot of fun. It was very fun as just a bunch of friends to get together, sit in front of a TV and just play some games. And finally, I ended up being able to do that at home, and that's also where I got my love for solo games and, single-player games. I love multiplayer. Multiplayer is always great. It's always gonna have, a soft place in my heart, because it's always fun to play video games with friends. Smash Bros, not the same. Mario Kart, it's not the same without friends. But that's also where I got my single-player start, was in 2010 when I first got a Wii. And then I've played that thing to death. I think over the lifetime of the Wii, I think I probably put easily over 1,000 hours into all the games combined. Like, I've definitely just pushed that thing to the max. I got homebrew on it eventually, later down the line. I played a ton of games. I played for a long time as well. I played a ton of games for a long time, and I played with a bunch of different people, and I've met a bunch of different people due to my love for video games that wouldn't exist without the Wii. I created this channel. All the content that you see on this channel, all the gaming content that you see on this channel, would not exist without 2010 when I first got a Wii. So that's my big event for 2010. Now for 2011. 2011 was the year that I was introduced to the magical, monumental series that went on to reshape basically my entire life, Pokemon. Yep, 2011 is when I found out about Pokemon for the first time. Like, I had known that Pokemon cards were a thing, right? We had Pokemon cards. I had known that other, you know, like parts of media, but 2011 was really where I discovered Pokemon for pretty much the first time. It all started really with me watching my friend play Soul Silver on his DS. And then from there it expanded where I would watch the show when it came on Cartoon Network in the mornings. I started looking at, like, not collecting cards, but I ended up eventually getting some trading cards and trading trading cards, the Pokemon TCG. I ended up learning how to play the game. I ended up eventually, actually, I think it was in 2011, getting a starter pack. And that has led to my current collection, which is sparse, granted, but it's also, you know, it's my collection. I feel it because I've gotten all of those cards myself. So 2011 is when my Pokemon, the first taste of Pokemon really started. That was a bit of a small one, but moving on. 2012. This is the year, guys. 2012 is a major year for me because of two things. This and that. This thing, the DS, solidified my place as a Nintendo fan for pretty much for life. And this, Pokemon Black, if you can see that, Pokemon Black made it to my favorite game of all time, and it's still there. Pokemon Black was the game that defines part of my opinions now. It's the game that got me, one, hooked on Pokemon, and two, the game that got me into story-driven narrative anything. It's the game that single-handedly explains why I love stories now, why I love storytelling, why I love the concept of, like, telling a narrative, or why I love, like, creating fake characters that readers or watchers, like movies and these videos, because, well, you want them to succeed. You weave characters together to want them to succeed, and this game was the first game that really taught me what having a good narrative could mean. And beyond just that, it's a fantastic game, and in my opinion, the best Pokemon game ever made, so there's that. But more importantly, I think this game really shaped my interests going forward, and because of just the quality of the game, of everything about it, the visuals, the music, everything about this game, that's why it wins these two things specifically, the game itself and the thing I had to play it on. These two things win Event of 2012. Next up is 2013, and this is a big one. 2013 was a big year for me, mainly because of this little bad boy right here. I bought this camera in 2012, and it's made pretty much all of my videos up until this year. Every video that I've been at the desk, or every video that I've been somewhere outside of my house, like somewhere out, you know, like maybe outside or maybe in like a separate house or something, I've filmed with my phone. But every single other video that I've made up until like June of this year, I filmed on this thing. In fact, the camera unboxing that I made here on this desk was filmed with this. It was kind of what I wanted to create, like a coup de grace or something, for it to, like a nice final curtain call for this is just unboxing the next camera. And this thing was really good. It lasted for a while, it had good battery, and more importantly, this thing has created so many memories and got me started on video production and what I do today, and that deserves a whole lot of credit. In fact, I have a bunch of videos that aren't on my YouTube channel, and the one that is actually from 2012, like winter of 2012, and it was, yeah, that was winter of 2012. At the time, I thought that was like the greatest video mankind had ever created, and obviously looking back on it now, it's not. But winter of 2012 is where I got started. I had really gotten into YouTube around that time, and I'd wanted to start creating on YouTube at that time, but I didn't really start until multiple years later, which we'll get to soon. And that's really where I got started, was with that video, winter of 2012, and then I ended up really creating more content and really getting into the gaming scene with this camera, a table, and a TV, and Poke Park 2, which I ended up getting in 2012, but I didn't think it was that big a deal to, point out. This camera, ended up defining, also defining my interests, when it, refining my interests. So where Pokemon Black gave me interests in narratives and story-driven elements and character-driven stories and all that kind of stuff, this thing gave me an outlet to do it that wasn't writing. So this thing will forever be treasured in my memory, because I filmed a lot of crap on this. Put together, honestly, I think the amount of stuff that I'm filmed on this would definitely cross a year's worth of content, literally 365 days worth of time in content. So yeah, that's my pick for 2013. And then, of course, 2014. I shouldn't even really have to explain what this one is, because, well, it's the birth of this. If you look on my YouTube page right now, I'll pull it up on my phone. If you look at my current YouTube channel, if you go to Power Pumpkin Gamer on YouTube, Google it, head over to my About page. I still haven't updated that little thing. Joined June 17th, 2004. I can't read, that says 2014. This is year 2014, what am I talking about? Joined June 17th, 2014. So obviously 2014 was a pretty big year, considering that's where this started. That's where all of these videos, that's where the video creation thing really got me hyped. I'd been making videos all throughout 2013, sure, but they were pretty small videos. They were just me experimenting with stuff. I had learned how to play the guitar, so I was playing the guitar over a video. I was really into Legos at the time, so I would film myself building stuff and then think, whoa, when I get some kind of software to edit this, I can speed that up. I never ended up getting that until later down the line, but yeah, it was pretty big. 2014 is the year that I moved into this current studio that you see. It was not this color when we first started. There's actually a video on my other channel, which I'm showing it right now, that shows the original color of these walls, and then I painted them later. I painted the studio later. And that was really the birth of the Power Pump Gamer that you see right now. I started out as MewPower26 in June on YouTube, and it's just been a pretty wild ride ever since. So that's really my main event for 2014, is starting this YouTube channel, creating video content, and really learning what it means to be a creator and create video content like this, where I stand in front of a camera and talk, or point a camera at something and it was back my old gameplay videos, you've seen them. It was literally me putting a camera on some books and stuff on a table and pointing it towards the TV and zooming in as much as I could to make it look decent, but it was just me dimming the lights, closing the blinds, all that stuff, pointing towards the TV. It was very amateur, but 2014 is where I got started with this stuff, with all of this that you've seen over these years. Alright, now moving on to 2015. 2015's biggest event was probably me getting an Xbox One. That generation, I decided to skip out on Nintendo because the Wii U wasn't doing so hot. In 2015, there weren't really that many good games for it. Sure, it's Splatoon, but I wasn't really a shooter guy at that point. Mario didn't really interest me because they didn't have something like Galaxy, which was a little more exploratory, something like that. And the Wii U just in general was seen as the baby console, the console that no one really gets because no one wants it. It's stupid, it's childish, the battery life on the gamepad sucks, the gamepad itself, I used it, it was not that great, it was kind of boring to be honest, and it was just kind of outdated in general, you know. It only really maxed out at around 720 on most games, whereas pretty much everything else was 1080 already. And I mean, the Xbox One and PS4 were already kind of outdated if you're comparing them to PCs when they came out. But you know, at least they were a little more competent when it comes to processing power, and the third-party support on PS4 and Xbox One were fantastic compared to the Wii U. Just like, it blew the Wii U out of the water. So I ended up skipping out on Nintendo that year. Same with the 3DS actually. I ended up buying the DSi the year that the 3DS came out because I thought the 3D would ruin my eyes, and how wrong I was. Regardless, I ended up getting the Xbox One Black Friday weekend of 2015. The video went live in February because that's how long it took me to edit that video, since I was editing that video on Movie Maker 2012 on my old dinky, thick Lenovo something. I honestly don't even know what the computer's called anymore. But it was this. It's just this big black, thick Lenovo. It's super heavy, with like a fan and a bunch of ports. It was a loud fan, by the way, and it was bad. It was a bad computer. It was a bad, like, Movie Maker is bad software, but it got the job done, even though it took me forever to do it. Part of that was also motivation, but I ended up getting an Xbox One and making a video of unboxing it, and I put it out on the channel, and that ended up becoming my most viewed video ever, I'm pretty sure, to this day, with 22K views, so that's a lot. So that would probably be the biggest thing for 2015. 2015 was also a bit of a gap year, but the Xbox One unboxing led to my biggest, like, my most viewed video ever, my biggest video ever. It's got the most promotion, it's gotten the most comments, it's gotten the most likes out of anything, it's gotten the most dislikes out of anything, it's gotten the most engagement, it's gotten the most views. Like, my Xbox One video is definitely like my biggest video, and that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't gotten an Xbox One in 2015. Moving on to 2016, which was a huge year. 4 major things that happened in 2016. Obviously the one I already talked about, which I kind of count as 2015 because I made the video, and by year end I had kind of edited some of it. There was a lot of edits to make, but I made my best, I uploaded at least my best performing video ever, so there's that, that's out of the way. But there's 3 other things that I wanted to talk about. One, probably the least exciting one out of all of them in hindsight, I got a new phone. So that phone has actually edited my videos. So I have edited videos for this channel on that old phone. I have actually made videos that I recorded, I edited, all of that stuff on that old phone. All of my old live streams, like the launch live stream, the live stream that I had where I recorded with my friends, you know, all of those people about Sun and Moon. All my Sun and Moon stuff was on that phone. All of the videos that I've made sitting at that desk were on my phone. I've edited those videos on my phone. I've put music in on my phone. So it was like, that was basically my machine to edit stuff at that point, because I had that dinky old Lenovo and Movie Maker 12, and even Movie Maker at that point was just complete crap. I actually, at that point, I don't think I had a laptop because that one crashed. So 2016, I didn't have a laptop to edit stuff at the time, so I ended up editing everything on my phone because it was better than Movie Maker, and it was portable, I could do it anywhere, and it was really, really good. Like, looking back on it, I mean, yes, I've abused the crap out of that old thing. It is shattered to bits. It is just, I think it's lying, yep, it's lying right over here. It's right back here. This thing is just gone completely. If I shine it at the light a little bit, you can kind of see all the spider webbing on the front. You can also see a bunch of the fingerprints. And then all over the back, you can kind of see the 2 major shatter points. And then there's spider webbing all over the back as well as the up here, the glass has started to lift up because the laminate underneath the glass has started peeling off. almost all around the phone actually. It's kind of scary. But this thing is the machine that brought you all of those live streams natively from the camera app. It brought you a bunch of the videos that I edited over there. I think I edited most of my Zelda month videos on this, so I'm pretty proud of this thing and what it did, because it really was just a beast when I first got it, when I had it, and when I used it. So yeah, that was pretty dope. The second, slightly, I guess, more important, especially in the long run that I'm talking about, is I repainted this whole studio. It was, as you saw earlier, that drab blue color, and then I decided, hey, I feel depressed by this room color, so I want to change it, and then I ended up changing it to what it is now. So green on all of these walls, there's green over here, green over there. I know you can't see it because it's behind the camera, but there's green on every wall that's on there and there that are facing that way or that way, and then there's orange every wall that's facing that way and that way. So the orange wall behind me, the orange wall behind the camera, there's this like kind of arch thing in the middle of my room that has green on the sides of it and then orange on these like other sides of it. The little desk over there, there's orange on those sides and green behind the monitor. So that, like, it was a long process. It took a really long time, but over summer that was my big project. I ended up repainting the studio to make it the current colors that it is, and I have not changed it since because I think it looks really good and I like it. Not to mention, I knew I would be ending up using these colors as backdrops for all my videos, so I wanted to make sure that they were, you know, good colors, and I ended up doing my studio justice. And then the final, probably the most important thing for me was hitting 100 subscribers. And I know that seems like a pretty small number, especially when you hear people talking about how they've hit like 1 million, how they hit like 500,000, how they hit Marquez, MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee, he recently hit 10 million. So I think his video for 10 million is actually on the trending tab on YouTube. So that was, that's really cool, good for him. But like, as a small channel who really only started doing this for the fun of it and for just enjoying himself, I feel like 100 subscribers was just like it was a number that I never thought I would ever actually accomplish, nor did I really care about accomplishing it. Like, I just wanted to create content, and I just wanted to make the content that I wanted to make, and then if people wanted to watch, but I didn't think that that many people would want to watch I didn't think that many people would want to watch a short, kind of chubby, dumb, like, kid just having fun, making some stupid gaming-related videos. I didn't think that they would want to do that, so I was really blown away by the fact that I hit 100 million, wow. By the fact that I hit 100 subscribers. Yeah, 100 million, I wish. I was really blown away by the fact that I hit 100 subscribers, and I don't know how well that came off in that video that I have, but I made a video about hitting 100 subscribers, and I was really proud of what I'd created. You know, I'd put a lot of work in, and throughout around that time I was actually finding like what I really liked doing, what I was really passionate about. I ended up really liking video production and you know, this kind of stuff. Yes, my channel is like game related, but like even beyond just the video game stuff, like just video production as a whole. I know I've uploaded Slick Bandit to this channel, and that was actually a film contest entry at school that I made, so I was pretty proud of that when I made that. But like around this time I was really getting into video production and all of that stuff, so I'm really glad that other people thought that I was fit enough to get alerts about when I post things. So I was super happy, and I'm still happy. Like, thank all of you. We've passed 200 subscribers now in the past 3 years. I think we're currently sitting at like 223, which is pretty dope. Like, I'm super hype about that, and I can't thank each and every one of you enough. But 2016, my three major things were the new phone, which became my main editing tool, painting the studio, and then hitting 100 subscribers. Next up, 2017. And yeah, it's exactly what you think it is. Is this thing. Yep, getting the Nintendo Switch was the biggest event of 2017 for me because of a couple reasons. It was the console that got me back into Nintendo, first of all. I had, like I said, fallen out of being a Nintendo fan for a little while. I still followed their updates and, you know, if anything cool happened, I was still there to see it. But I hadn't purchased a 3DS, I hadn't purchased a Wii U, I was like behind on the Nintendo stuff. I'd even fallen, at that point I'd kind of fallen out of Pokemon because I'd fallen out of the 3DS. But I still played the games because I even bought Ultra Moon for a friend. But he let me play. I've played all of the Pokemon games even on the 3DS when I didn't have one. But the Switch was really my way back into Nintendo. It was my way back to my roots, back to what I'd come to love, what I'd come to, you know, really like. And like throughout the wait, like I ended up getting the Switch later in 2017. I ended up getting it in September and not like March, back when it first came out, because they were sold out everywhere. And yes, that includes the middle of nowhere where I live. And I don't know, I really like this thing. It's really good. There's just something about the Switch and the whole concept of the Switch that really struck a chord with me, and like I was super hyped when they first announced it because I had just started getting back into like the swing of things with Nintendo, because they'd started turning it around the time that the Switch was starting to come out. And then I watched the January presentation with the Breath of the Wild trailer, that Breath of the Wild trailer, you know the trailer I'm talking about. I got so hyped with Mario Odyssey, with that trailer. I saw No More Heroes, or not No More Heroes, what was it? Shin Megami Tensei 5. I had no idea what a Shin Megami Tensei was before I saw that thing, but I was still hyped for that. Literally everything I saw in that announcement. Splatoon 2. Splatoon, a game that I hadn't even considered before, I thought was cool. So it was like such a good year to be a Nintendo fan, 2017. Everyone loved the Switch. Pretty much no one really hated on it other than like people who are like breaking it to make it look bad or whatever. But I ended up getting a Switch in 2017, and that was really the big event of that year because that really like changed. First of all, it changed how much I'm into gaming. Like I've spent so much time gaming over these past couple years ever since I got the Switch. On Breath of the Wild, I've put in like, I think I've put in somewhere around like 300 hours of gameplay in Breath of the Wild alone. And that's not even counting Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Pokemon Sword, Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I'm actually recording. I've already beaten one of the paths. Fire Emblem Three Houses, Smash Bros. I've put in so much time in Smash Bros. All of these games that I've played so much of on my Switch, games that I would not have gotten the opportunity to play otherwise, like Breath of the Wild, games like Breath of the Wild that came out in 2017, I started playing in 2017, and I somehow enjoyed it so much that it made it to my top 3 favorite games of all time the year that it came out and that I got it. It was so good. So the event of 2017 most definitely is getting a Switch. And now for 2018. And I think everyone already knows what 2018 is going to be. It's this thing. I mean, how could it not be? That thing is now my main editing tool. It's the thing that I make all of my videos on. It's the thing that I make all of my content. It's the thing that I consume most of my content. It's the thing, like, that is the machine. It's the place that I got, like, really into editing. It's the place where I discovered so many different things. Color correction, man. I barely knew that color correction was a thing before that Mac, so I was super hyped, and it's something that I'd been working towards since 2014, so it was so huge. Like, it was something that, like, I, to be honest, didn't think that I really could ever do, and I ended up doing it. 2018, I ended up getting that thing in my hands, and it was honestly awesome. Like, it was so, first of all, it was like a really proud moment because I've been working towards that since 2014, But getting that, finally getting my hands on that thing, finally getting it in my hands, and finally being able to make better content because I have better tools. It was so nice, you know, and that thing has been such a trooper. It's been with me out of the country. It's been with me to Europe when I went to Europe. It's been everywhere. So I've taken that thing on vacation. I've taken that thing on planes. I've taken that thing everywhere. That thing is so good. The keyboard hasn't died on me yet. I don't know if it will ever, and I hope by the time that it probably will eventually, knowing my luck, I hope that Apple still fixes those for free. But within, you know, in the same time, I'm super glad that the keyboard hasn't died out on me yet. And I even if it does, I still love the keyboard. Like, people really like to hate on the butterfly keyboard, but I actually really like it. And it was such a monumental occasion because it's been something that I've been toiling over every single year since 2014. And I was so ecstatic when it finally happened, when I got it, when I was able to film that video. I'd broken my tripod, if you guys remember, and I had this very ghetto setup where it was just like a one phone camera on a chair, like a bar stool, and then another phone camera attached to a selfie stick, standing up against, like, leaning against a chair to keep it steady and, you know, up there and focused on the Mac itself. That way I could film myself unboxing it from that, like, angle that all the YouTubers do it at. Now I do it on my desk with this camera, but when I first got that thing, when I first got to unbox it, it felt so right. Like, it felt so good. It felt fulfilling, you know. It felt like this is it, because that was really my next step in video production. Slick Bandit, if you guys watch that thing took about a month, like, to edit, like, to film and edit that thing. It took just about a month, partially because of, like, scheduling conflicts, partially because we ended up having to do some reshoots, partially because some of our, you know, like, first of all, we couldn't really film on most weekdays, so we really ended up filming mostly on the weekends. But it was really a pain because we had to get our actors to wear the same stuff. We had to remember that, you know, where everyone was and what everyone was doing, and to get all the footage, to get all the sound, to get all of that together. It was just, it took a lot of work. It was a lot of time, and we ended up finally doing it. It took, again, everything included, filming and editing. It took like a month to get it all together, but we did, and it was, I think it turned out really good, and I found it really funny at the very least. But that was really it was such a major shift, because now, after getting that, and that entire video was edited on that computer, and it was such a major shift because now I could finally create content of a higher caliber, not just for YouTube, but in general, create content of a higher caliber of quality with correct color correction, proper editing, proper lighting, all that stuff. I could create that and edit that better, and I could edit it properly to match my vision of the content on that machine, because I finally had that machine. So that thing is my event of the year for 2018. Even though it happened fairly early in the year, nothing beat that out, really. Nothing else beat out getting that. And that brings us to this year's pick, 2019. What is my event for this year? Well, my event for 2019 is actually a combination of a couple different things, mainly centered around the Black Friday time. And it's, the major three things are the Sony WH-1000 XM3s, getting the iPad, and getting the capture card. And I don't want to take the capture card out of its little hidey hole in the back there because it's really strapped down, because there's so many wires back over near the desk set up. It's a mess back there, it really is, so I don't want to go fish it out. But the capture card, you guys saw that video, and then the iPad, and then I didn't make a video on the WH-1000 XM3s. The runner-up for this year was actually a couple things as well. It was mainly around like spring, summer, where I got this camera, I got this phone, the Galaxy S10 Plus, and then I got the tripod that you're standing on right now. I got this tripod here that I use now. I can use that. I can film stuff with a tripod again, and it feels good because my tripod is just, my old tripod, the one that I broke, is just sitting there over in that corner. Very sad looking. But having a tripod, having a proper camera, having a new phone to do all my stuff with, that was a really close battle between these three things. But the iPad, the Sony's, and the capture card won out because of really two major reasons. The iPad and the capture card kind of go hand in hand because the way that I film videos with the capture card is that I will connect the capture card to my Mac, open up Game Capture HD, and then use that sidecar feature to mirror my Mac display on my iPad, and then switch my monitor input to my Switch. That way I can see the Switch gameplay without any like recording lag on my monitor, and then I can monitor the stream or the recording from my iPad that's sitting right next to me. So those two kind of go hand in hand. And the Sony's I got partially for recording and editing because they're noise canceling. So that means that I get, first of all, I get the most like apt sound that it's going to sound like for people when they watch my videos. Like the way it's going to sound for people, as well as I can like cut out all the background noise. That way I can really focus in on the edit. So that was really good. And the reason why the capture card, the iPad, and this beat out the camera, my phone, and that thing is because the iPad, the capture card, and my headphones are my purchases. Like, I made those purchases myself. The camera was a gift. This was a gift. The tripod was a gift. This was also kind of a gift. But I bought this with my own money. I bought that iPad. I bought that capture card. So it was really my first time getting pretty expensive items, to really further my creative possibilities. And I've used that. I honestly didn't realize how useful Photoshop was until I installed a bunch of Photoshop apps on my iPad for free. I have Photoshop Mix, I have Photoshop, Sketch? Yeah, Photoshop Sketch. Sketch is also pretty useful. And then the interactions between my Mac and my iPad, all that handoff stuff, all that good Apple ecosystem stuff. But beyond just that, it's the first major expenditure I've made on my own. Like, I bought this Mac. While I earned it, I did not pay for it. Like, there was a caveat to me getting that, and I was able to meet that, like, that deadline. I was able to meet it so I could get that. So I got that. I didn't pay for it, but I got it because I had earned it without actually earning money to buy it. But the iPad, the capture card, and the Sony WF-1000XM3s, I bought these with my own money. So like, I used my money. It's like a bit of a proud moment because it's like I used my own money to buy things for myself, to buy things that I know will improve my creative endeavors, and I know can take me further with creative endeavors. And you've already seen the outcome of that. You've already seen the fairly consistent Fire Emblem Three Houses uploads. I have a bunch of uploads that I have planned. I want to do other games when they come out. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, I'm really hoping I can record that. Persona 5S, if it comes to the States and it's like localized properly, I'm really hoping I can record and get that. There's so many games that I can't wait to record. I can't wait to create content for these games now that I have the tools required to do so. Now that I have the stuff that I need to make those kinds of videos. Now that I have the proper equipment to do it. And I'm really glad that I was able to do that myself. I was able to invest myself, my own money into this kind of stuff, so to further my own creative processes. And that it's more of like a pride thing. So while I'm super appreciative and I'm super hype about the fact that I got a new camera, I got a new phone, I got a new tripod after I broke my old one, and while I'm super appreciative and I'm super hype about these things, which could also be another event of 2019, I decided to go against using that as well, because I really think that I'm more proud of the fact that I was able to get those other things to further my creative endeavors myself rather than get them as a gift. So while I don't dislike this stuff, I'm also saying that like I feel more pride about the fact that I was able to afford those things on my own rather than get them as presents, which is why that made 2019 Event of the Year. And now we've reached the end. This is the end. These, well actually the iPad and that were the most recent purchases, but these are actually on hand, so I'm just going to show these. This was from this year, so we're done with the video. This was definitely a very long video, and I'm sure it's gonna take a while to edit, but I'm glad that I did it so far in advance that I'll have plenty of time to edit this video before I want it to go live on the YouTube channel. But that brings us to the present day, and that's all the years from this decade, 2010 to 2019. It was a really good year. I've done a lot this decade. Looking back on it, it's super cool to see how much I've evolved, not only as a content creator, but also as a gamer. Just like, having fun, playing video games. Everything that I've done this year. Like the two major things that were covered really in this video was my two major addictions, gaming and content creation, like video creation, video production. And it's super hype. I at least am super hype about all of this stuff, and it's cool to see everything I've been through. I have my Mac sitting back there, my Switch is sitting back there, my iPad is sitting back there, and then my phone, DS, camera, and Wii remote, and an Xbox controller. Pretty much almost everything I've talked about is in this room somewhere. So it's super cool to see how far I've come over this past decade. And then of course I have the camera that I'm talking to, my phone in my pocket, I have the tripod that the camera's on, and of course I have the camera itself and that thing reminding me of you guys, of all of you viewers that watch my content, all of you viewers that actually decide, hey, this guy's worth subscribing to. The 100 subscribers, the 220 subscribers that I have now, and I love each and every one of you for your dedication over all these years. I love all 223 of you that have decided that I was worth your time. All 223. Just had to make sure. I love all 223 of you that decided that I was worth your time and that I was, worth subscribing to. I hope you stay subscribed, and I hope you keep up with all these videos. I do have one more video planned in the near future that will launch a little after this video. This video I want to release like at the very, very tail end of 2019. I want this to go up in 2019. Hopefully I have enough time to edit it so I can get it up in 2019. But I also have another video coming that's about looking forward to the future and looking forward to the next decade of stuff. But I also wanted to express that in this video, where now in this video I've looked back at the past decade of stuff that I've done, of stuff that all of the events of this past decade, the YouTube stuff, the gaming stuff, all the stuff, and it's really shown me how much I've grown in this decade. And now I'm looking forward to how much I grow in the next decade, because if I've grown this much in this decade and the trend is linear at the very least, I know for a fact that I'm growing a lot more in the next decade, and it's going to be a wild ride. So I'm really excited to see where the next 10 years takes me, and we're gonna go over that in the next video. But to just look back, it was nice to look back at everything that happened over this last decade, all of these big events that I have been able to accomplish. So it was really dope looking back at everything and just taking it all in. So thank you all for making most of these things possible. I mean, I know I did quite a bit before the channel started, before I started recording, and I know like 2010 to 2013 just about were before I started making videos. But I want to thank all of you for watching all of this content. I know this was a very long video, so if you made it this far, thank you for sticking through it. Thank you for sticking through with me all the way to the end. And yeah, that's really like just a real big thank you to every viewer, every subscriber, every person who's liked my videos, disliked my videos, commented on my videos, subscribed, didn't subscribe, anyone who's like just engaged with my channel. I want to thank every single one of you for a lot of the stuff that I covered in this video, and you guys are the reason why I strive to make new content every single day, every single week. You know, you guys are the reason that I strive to make new videos. So I want to thank you. And with that, thank you for watching this video. Now that it's coming to an end, thank you for watching. If you guys did like this video, please do leave a like down below. Comment below how hyped you are for 2020 and all the new stuff that next decade is gonna bring. And tell me if you're just as hyped as I am. I highly doubt it. Smash that like button. Subscribe to get alerts every single time a new video drops, and hit the bell to join the notification squad and get alerts every single time a new video drops, as soon as it drops, as well as the moment in time I go live. Punch that bell icon. And share with your friends to know about YouTubers such as myself. So guys, in short, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you all for the past 10 years, and here's to another 10. My lights are out.